like and subscribe. Now, what are red flags in a friendship most people brush away? When you hang out with them it feels like you're defusing a bomb when there's nothing going on right then. Friends that only care to talk about their own success and aren't genuinely happy for you and yours unless it amounts to less than their own. Really jealous and possessive friends. I'm a jealous person by nature, and even though my jealousy flares up when I see my friends hanging out with other people, I would never let them know. Why? Because I don't want them to feel bad about doing the things they love. Having a social life outside my little world. If a person tries to box you up because they want you all to themselves, it's not a proof of love or companionship. True love, in any kind of relationship like friends, family, lovers, is shown by respect and allowing the other person to have free will. Friends who are good to you when one-on-one but constantly put you down in group settings. This is a big sign of insecurity, jealousy. Other signs: inappropriate attention-seeking behaviors, trying to twist the situation on you when confronted about things, not respecting your boundaries, is super friendly with new people but in a disingenuous I wanna be like the most way, constant gaslighting, getting mad at you for not going by the exact same moral playbook as them. When in group settings they get really uncomfortable and try to change the subject or put you down extra if attention is on you. Acting they like can take constructive feedback but actually taking it out on you in small ways throughout the rest of the day. Continually feeling like you want to say something but should hold your tongue. I'd like to add to this but I think I'll hold off. Hey, he's not your friend, buddy. You see, you got a private message from them and your gut reaction is to start getting nervous or anxious. What is it this time? This was happening with me 4 months before the friendship imploded. It was always something, and none of it good. Oh, my crisis friend is calling. I wonder what crisis she's having today. They always started these conversations with a particular energy. I still can't see that energy in use without a little involuntary shudder. Is that you, Denko? Friends who gossip excessively. If they are talking about other people, chances are they're talking about you. My roommates like to gossip by saying extremely nice things behind friends' backs. That kind of gossiping is okay. And people that send you screenshots of private messages with other people. Guess what? Your private messages are being sent around too. Being dismissive of all your interests and achievements. Meanwhile everything they do, no matter how mundane, is amazing. And then you bring this issue up and they give BS reasons like it's hard for me to care about something I don't know about, or even further you're being sensitive, erratic, emotional, and you just sit there thinking I'm sure glad I still attentively listened to all those times you bored me with your financial spreadsheets you made to decide what car you would buy. Ugh, I had a friend like this. She literally blocked me on social media when I was doing well at my job because she couldn't be happy for me, but then she sends me messages on a weekly basis about how great her very ordinary office job is. People who can't be happy for other people are so ridiculous. How hard is it to give a thumbs up or say that's awesome, good for you, and carry on? Total psycho. They only talk to you when all of their other friends are gone. Oof, this hit close to home. Couldn't have covered it better. My best friend in high school did this with boys. If she was dating someone I was invisible. I can only think of one guy she dated where this didn't happen. Always asking for favors but never there when you need them to return one. Yeah, a friendship is a two-way street and ones that only go one way are not healthy. It's the fact that they act like you are the best of friends when they are around you because they want something, then immediately blow you off once you've helped. Had a few so-called friends like this. They weren't around for long. 1-upper friends. I just had this 2 hours ago. I was shopping and a cute girl just said hi while walking by. Just a hi made my day, and so I was telling my friend about it. He said nice and then told me how yesterday a sexy co-worker just comes to him and kisses him. Reason: she just wanted to. This was kind of the moment I realized he is full of cow excrements. Your friend must be my roommate, because according to him every woman in the world wants to F him. 2-upper friends. That's nothing. Try having a 3-upper friend. Friends that don't let you have any other friends and require 100% of your time when they can't give you the same. This also applies to significant others, especially so with significant others. Huge red flag. Friends who are always happy to talk about themselves but never once ask you how you're doing or anything engaging you to talk about yourself. Have a friend exactly like this. It's very annoying lately. You should let them know. Maybe they don't realize they're doing it and would change their behavior to be a better friend. I was that friend once and I wish I had known before it was too late to fix it. Came here to say this, because I'm that friend. I'm working on it, but tend to go overboard and turn a healthy interest in the other person into interviewing the other person. I also realized I haven't actually become less self-centered when I look through my comment history and noticed that most of them started with I or an implied I. Exhibit A. This comment sounds like my ex-wife. Once I bought a ring for her and was going to give it to her the next time she said or did something thoughtful or caring. 9 months later I said F it and gave it to her for Christmas. Was a real eye-opener to keep waiting on a moment that never came. B didn't care about nothing but herself. They call you only when they need you. And then you feel guilty when you get mad because they've had a rough upbringing or something. And you feel like a bad friend and like maybe you're overreacting. Because you know they've been through a lot, but still you want to vent to them about your problems because they might be able to sympathize, but then you think that their problems have been worse than yours, so you really can't complain because in comparison you don't have shit to complain about. And they don't call you or text you for a few months, but suddenly they get into an argument with somebody and they're always in the right and they need somebody to reassure them that they deserve better. Sounds about right. Inability or unwillingness to apologize when he or she does something wrong. It's symptomatic of an ego issue that will eventually infect every aspect of your friendship. Feel this one. Had a friend like that who always managed to put the blame on me, and it made me so frustrated that at one point I snapped when a common friend of us experienced that same toxic behavior. She found out later and got super mad at me for trash talking her. Lol, maybe I am the bad guy. My best friend in high school once specifically requested for me to post a picture of us for National Best Friend Day, or some similar holiday. I asked if she'd be posting a picture of us too. No, I have a lot of best friends, but I'm your main best friend, so you should post a picture of us, was her response. The next couple years were full of backstabbing, gaslighting, complete with occasional fallings out until we finally stopped speaking. Looking back, I can't believe I didn't see it coming. Good riddance to her. That's awful that she said that to you, and I hope you've better, more considerate people in your life to appreciate you. Reading these comments are helping to calm my anxieties about whether or not I'm a good friend. So thanks for that, y'all. Another sign of a bad friend is no self-reflection. Sounds like you don't fall into that category either. Vampires can't be good friends, say it ain't so. If you think about them when you read this post, they don't ask about you. They just turn every conversation about themselves. When you talk about exams, they don't ask you how you did, they just talk about themselves. When you talk about not sleeping well, they talk about how they didn't sleep. When you tell them you broke up with your so, they talk about their so, etc. Some people think that that is how you show empathy, by showing you have similar problems. It becomes a real problem when they combine it with being a topper. I slept awful last night. Woke up at 3 and just gave up. Me too. I never did fall asleep and I just laid on the couch all night. Me and one of my friends really have struggled with this in the past. I always thought I was empathizing, but I was really just making it about me. It's taken work to not talk about myself and instead just listen. When they push other people out of the friend group. It happened in my group where there were 5 of us. She joined and basically bullied 3 out of the group. But it wasn't obvious bullying. A lot of things change. Next thing I know, I'm being treated like sh to the point I hate myself. Me and my friend managed to leave and make friends with the original 5 again. The one that kicked everyone out is very social and no one RLY likes her. BC, she's not nice, but she's now found herself with no friends. Yes, I knew a guy like this in high school. He kept trying to get other people to leave our group, and he'd always try to manipulate the rest of us into hating them. He tried it with every single person in our group, and I'd assume that includes myself. He actually did manage to get one person to leave, but everyone else wouldn't listen to his sh when he tried to turn it onto them. I knew the guy since 6th grade, and I wanted him to leave for years at that point, but I never knew how to bring it up without sounding as toxic as he did. Anyway, it's not like he had any other place to go, either. He had no other friends besides us. The guy was also super smart, and he was in this accelerated program so he could graduate high school a year early. There was one other person in our friend group who I was getting the impression didn't like him either, so I admitted to her that I hated him. And she agreed with me. To my relief, after he graduated, the rest of the group I all admitted that we couldn't stand him either. We all shared stories about the awful things he did, and we were all closer than ever in our senior year. After that, the toxic guy also tried getting in touch with all of us at one point or another after he graduated. None of us ever answered him. Funny enough though, the guy put one of my friends in a group chat together with people in his college at one point, and they clearly hated him just as much as we did. It was nice knowing that jackass got what he deserved in the end. You get what you effing deserve. Reading through this is making my heart sink with realization. Are you the friend or the friend? The friend. I've been blocking out most of it, but stepping back and looking at my friend group and how they've treated me for the past year or so is like a slap in the face. But I don't have anywhere else to go. Good vibes only friends. That mentality is fine to have with yourself, but you can't force that on others. My best friend adopted this attitude, and from then on, whenever I would come to her for support or advice on an issue I was having, she'd cut me off and say, good vibes only. Remember? Because I was bringing her down. I put up with it for a long time because I thought she was right, that I was burdening her, but then I finally realized that that's not how real friends act. They are supposed to support and help each other, referred to online as toxic positivity. Friends who constantly call you for advice but never take it and continue to involve you in their drama. If you're not going to make moves to improve your situation, stop asking me for help, assholes. When they pressure you to do things for them, or a certain way, and act like you were on board the whole time. Caution. They say they are holding you accountable to something you never wanted in the first place. Gaslighting. They take the high road when you get angry because they won't respect your boundaries. Play the victim. Passive-aggressive insults to other friends, or to you. When you can't trust a damn word they say, or any promise they make to you, you know you don't have a good friend. Friends that are a one-way street. I was always the one to message, call, or make plans with them. I was always the one to check up on them to see if they were okay. I always offered a helping hand and be there for them. I decided to stop to see if they would reach out to me, but we never spoke to me again. Oh, well. I've got a friend who loves to talk about himself. Everything is always about him. So, when I'm out with my friends and he's in our group, we created a game where you have to drink every time he starts a conversation about himself. It's made it a lot more tolerable. Have you all ever addressed this with him? I'm embarrassed to say I used to be this way when I was younger. I didn't realize it, and did it as a way to connect to my friends' stories. One day my best friend said to me, "We're talking about me. Please don't make it about you. You do that all the time." It was a light bulb moment for me. Ever since I've been more aware and found better ways to connect. Thankfully this was a long time ago, and I'm glad she said it, or else I'd still be blindly doing it. Saying something is definitely a good idea. Exactly this. You should just be honest with the guy. He may even be oblivious to it. They never say anything supportive of you, but they will point at your flaws and can't wait to burn you because it's funny to them. And then the follow-up of "You're too sensitive, it's just joking." I had a friend like that. When I started distancing myself from her and that group of friends, I became the bee that never wanted to hang out even though I had no life. Good effing riddance. Friends that aren't happy for your success and happiness, but are very close when you're sad, are the emotional vampires. That's how they feed. Yes, but how do you kill them? I'm often closer to my friends who are sad in the sense that in the past I've prioritized spending time with people and talking to them when they are down. That doesn't mean I'm not happy for their successes and we don't chat and see each other as normal when they're up. I just tend to give more attention to the friends that are down because they seem like they need it. Or, friends that don't care when you're sad and pretend to be happy for your success and happiness. When you realize that you are more yourself when they're not around. Friends that constantly hit you. AAAUHHFK. I can't believe you've done this. Then you start a fight club of all your a-hole friends. Garrett. When they refuse to validate you, compliment you. When you tell them your accomplishment or something you're proud of, they reply with what they did to devalue your thing. Someone who listens to gossip about you and doesn't shut it down. I have friends like this, but it prevents them from being good friends. Having to censor yourself. I have friends with different religious political beliefs that I think are absolutely insane. I don't endorse what they say, but I just keep my mouth shut, because I know they wouldn't be okay with it, and the purpose of these friendships usually revolve around sports music. This is subtle and a bit counterintuitive, but beware of the rescuer martyr. The person that's always rushing out to help and give everyone else their all, whether or not it's needed or whether the recipient is comfortable with it. They are good people, very well intentioned and saintly in their generosity with their time and energy. However, sometimes it goes to the extreme, and then it's more a symptom of a toxic cycle where they only get meaning and self-worth when they are saving someone. Or maybe they keep swooping into other people's lives to fix things in hopes that someone will do the same for them. They may have good intentions, but they tend not to have good boundaries. They get over-involved in your life, take on way too much, and make everyone's problems their own. They end up overwhelmed, mired in drama, and resentful. And then they become the martyr. The problem with being friends with this type of person is that you're not in an equal friendship where you like each other, enjoy spending time with each other, and when there happen to be downs, you support each other through them. It's more like you're a project. Everyone's a project. And once you stop being a project, you're now support, not just for them and their own problems, but part of the fire brigade for their other projects, which they've internalized as their own problems and drama. The word for that is codependence, and I am guilty. Just found out a few months ago when it killed a friendship. I hope bringing awareness to the issue is enough to check yourself before you wreck yourself here. But yeah, no fun. They choose where and when to meet for plans without your input, then act entitled if you are busy or simply can't meet their demands. If you tell your friend that you like a person and you two are hanging out, then out of nowhere they start to talk to the person 24/7 and then tell you that they like the person and gets jealous if anyone else starts to talk to that person. Pretty toxic to me, but yeah. If you have had a friend for a long time, but you only seem to be able to talk about memories in the past, each time you get together or exchange messages, it's remember in high school, or remember that time when, could be a sign that you both have grown apart and do not have much in common today that you can connect on. I have a friend who does this, except they have become wild exaggerations to the point they are no longer true. Remember that time we saved the school from the dragon invasion? Oh, those were the times. I don't think it is necessarily a bad thing or a red flag though. My best friend and I see each other maybe twice or thrice a year, even though we live half an hour by train. We occasionally write or send us a couple of things maybe once or twice a week. We don't really have much in common today. We don't know much about what's going on in the other's life either. But yes, the past connects us. We ask each other for comfort and advice. We reminisce about old days a lot. And when we meet, we talk as if the other person was never gone. We surely aren't that close anymore. We have grown apart, but we're still there for each other. Of course it can apply as a red flag though. Just saying, it doesn't have to be all bad. Personally, I've always had bad experiences with people who say everyone is their best friend. When my best friend in high school started calling 10 different people including me her best friend, that was when I knew I was just an accessory and she was trying to surround herself with people to love her. A friend of mine has been making fun of me for years. Just made fun of me whenever I did said anything, even if I was serious. Didn't realize how much it's affected my self-esteem until I actually got really angry at her for something else and no longer considered her a friend. Also, she's mentally unstable. Now that's okay, and as her friends we want to help her with that, but she's not giving us a chance to do so. She just flips us and expects everyone to adapt to her. The real problem is that she hasn't changed. The same shit's been happening for years and she's apparently not trying to work on herself in that regard. Still expecting us to just accept whatever BS she throws at us. So effer. Controlling, manipulative friends that try to change you rather than accepting you as you are. Where does good-natured advice ends and molding start? Some of these top comments are very vague. Same with talking about other friends. There's a difference between talking about them in general, criticizing something they've done, and mean gossip. Friends who encourage you to do self-destructive things because it makes them feel better about their own lives. They are constantly on their phone messaging people or talk about people they speak to, but can never seem to reply to your messages. Friends that are always on their phones when you make the effort to hang out with them. If the only jokes they are able to make are ones that make fun of other people, it's always a ticking time bomb with people like this, and one day they'll suddenly turn against you without warning. If they post about having a bad day but never answer anyone asking why, friend FK this day, I'm so sick of this. 5 different people in comments, what happened? Friend message me, nothing, or no response. You decide to message, you get, just had a bad day, and then nothing, or get nothing at all, or they tell you they'll tell you later. They won't tell you later, chances are absolutely nothing actually happened. When they cancel plans, they always do it last minute, or just not show up. I had a friend who would ignore my messages asking where they were, and they would always message 3 days later that they were in the hospital or something. Every time, not just once or twice, and it was a couple. One of you can answer me even if that were true. Someone who is all nice, great, attentive, supportive, etc. when you are alone but acts differently when other people are around. Don't make excuses for your friend. This is 100% uncool. At the very least, it shows some bad insecurities on their part. At worst, it's a sign they are genuinely using you. When they ditch you the moment they start dating someone. The ones who create and constantly dominate group chats. My circle of friends was actually severed in half because of this. Friend brings in another friend and she starts dominating everything. My friends are like this cause of one person. Now we have 2 separate groups and the old one. It's shy and sad. I don't know about this one. My other friends in our group chat just don't talk much or have nothing to really send. It's all memes and stuff, you know. I have to start conversations and then everyone's engaged in it. Like, I get what you mean, but I don't think so all the time. The only other people that would dominate group chats and the chat either A, are never on their phones. They have lives. Unlike me. B, not in the mood, or C, just don't like texting, so they always start group calls or hangout sessions and stuff instead. You will say sorry for everything, fly to words so you don't offend them. Having to comply with someone's opinion that you don't believe in. If you find yourself not getting along in an everyday way, that's a flag. They try to correct your personal preferences for you. Bully you out of liking certain clothing, music, foods, art, etc. They'll often frame it as if they're doing you a favor. It's a sign of emotional immaturity when people treat others like play objects rather than human beings. Friends that makes jokes at the expense of you. My last group fell apart because I was tired of them making fun of myself and my girl at the time, so I called them out and they all paid the victim card.